Alright, so in this video, I'll show you how to turn the shockwave into a flamethrower and add collisions with an invisible object. So first, what I want to show you next is the looping. So as you can see, the shockwave just keeps shooting one after another. This is actually controlled with this main system node over here. If you go to System Update, you can see that the loop duration here is set to 5 and it's set to infinite. So it will shoot out one new shockwave every 5 seconds infinitely. So if I just extend my timeline, it's going to keep happening forever. And you can see that every time it hits 5 seconds over here, the loop restarts and a new shockwave appears, right? So I can just set this to maybe 1.5 and I'll just keep getting one after another, which maybe you want, right? It's actually pretty cool to watch it collide one into another. Or a lot of times you will just want it to happen once. So instead of infinite looping, you can just set it to once, at which point the loop duration doesn't matter. You're just gonna get one single blast. So if I just restart it with this auto activate, you'll just get one and that's it. Now, what if you want to get maybe 3 of them? Well, you would just set this to multiple loops. And the loop count, I want to have 3, and I want a new shockwave every 3 seconds, right? So I'm going to get 3 shockwaves total with 3 seconds in between. Let me restart it again. So I get 1, 3 seconds, I get the second one, and after another 3 seconds, I get the third one, and then it stops. I won't get any more. So that's how these settings work. Very useful to know. Always comes in handy to use this stuff, so remember that. So next we're gonna turn this into a flamethrower, but I don't want to lose the shockwave. So I'll just make a copy of my Niagara system. So back in our VFX folder, and let's just select our NS blast, do Control D to make a copy and just call it NS_flamethrower. We can turn off the blast in our viewport and just drag the flamethrower over here instead, right? So this is my copy flamethrower, double click. I'll just pause it so it's faster to make changes. Now I want it to loop infinitely, so just set the loop behavior to infinite. And so for the spawn, instead of a burst, we want continuous emission. So you can just uncheck this to deactivate, but leave it there just in case you want to use it later. Click on the plus sign again, type spawn, and we want the spawn rate, and maybe just spawn 500 particles. And here we go. You pretty much get the flamethrower right away. Maybe the cone is just a bit too wide. So velocity in cone, change the cone angle to maybe just 20. See what that looks like. Yeah, so, it's almost like a rocket launch, really, more than a flamethrower. It's gigantic. So we can kill the particles sooner. So initialize particle, just have them live from maybe 0.1 to 0.3. And just to make it look different, we can change the colors. So emitter summary, render, I think what did I do here? Yeah, so green fire, green smoke. So change the smoke to a nice saturated green color. Maybe make it like a dark green. And then the fire can be a bright green. Maybe a little bit yellowish, kind of looks like toxic. Right, so if you were going for more like a realistic flamethrower, you would simply change, if instead of a curve, you can just do the black body and then make your smoke color black, right? So you would just make the smoke color, you can just click on this green arrow, which will revert it to the original, right? And you could maybe give it more temperature so you have more flames, maybe even 0.15, and you would get more like a realistic flamethrower this way. Maybe that's a bit bright, but you already know how to change all those settings. So in our case, we want it to be green, so I'll just change it back. And so, the smoke is already colliding with an invisible wall, but that's just the simulator grid wall. Now, what if you wanted it to collide with a custom object? Well, if I just go here and create a basic shape, make it a cube, scale it up. In this case, it's already colliding with the smoke. If it's not colliding for you, you might have to add a tag. Super simple to do. You'll just select the object that you want to be a collider and just type tagged. And here you just need to click on the actor tags, click on the plus sign, and just type in collider. And this will let Niagara know that you want this particular object to act as a collider, right? And I can just scale up this box and it's nicely colliding with my simulation. It's working beautifully. And if you want it to be invisible, you can just select the mesh component. So select the cube, static mesh component, scroll down until you see the visible, uncheck, and here you go. Here's your invisible collider. So that's exactly what I did for the final few shots of the trailer. And if I just select the system and reset it, you get that really cool initial impact with that wall. One more time. Awesome. So, it goes without saying that if you were working on something like a rocket launch, you could pretty much just rotate this 90 degrees to face the ground, and then you can change a few settings and basically get like a rocket launch set up this way as well. And you can also just make a copy of this. So, hold Alt, drag, and you're gonna get two of them. Then you can rotate this one to face the other one. And now you have maybe, two enemies fighting against each other, battle this way very easily. So just wanted to show you some new things that you can do. We covered the looping over here. I showed you how to make a flamethrower, change few of the settings, change the colors. Really, this is just the fun part at this point where we've gone over all of the key settings 2 or 3 times over at this point. So I would encourage you to, click around, see what kind of different results you can get out of this. Definitely play with the color curve, maybe see how you can get the end of the flames to have a different color than the beginning of the flames just by adding new colors over here. Infinite ways to make cool stuff. And as far as the little environment, it's really just a few boxes and a few spotlights just so that it wouldn't be just an empty room, right? I showed you guys how to add spotlights, how to add animated characters from Mixamo using the sequencer. So you actually already have, the skills to make something like this happen if you wanted to make like a battle between 2 characters. So this is gonna be it for this video, and in the next lesson we're gonna start on the effect setup number 3, which is gonna be this little radial explosion. So I'll see you in that one.